Hey there, I'm Joe Weems. Before we get into the video, I want to remind you about ng-conf 2023 happening in Salt Lake City, Utah on June 14th and 15th. Head over to ng-conf.org to check out the speakers, check out the talks, and to get your ticket before they all sell out. We'll see you there.
If you're a big fan of ancient civilization and like some cool engineering, you probably are fascinated about the pyramids in Egypt, all right? But I will take this audience and ask anybody, do you know what this piece of tool is? 3, 2, 1, no. This is called a nilometer. A nilometer was used in ancient Egypt to be able to measure the flooding of the Nile. Based on that, they will know that if they will have enough crops for the upcoming season, or if they have to levy more taxes or less taxes. So that's kind of, what I call a sleek, old-school piece of engineering. Now, and I just told you what the nilometer was. The scale is huge. If you ever make it there, there's one left in Rhode Island in Cairo. And then you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to read it out loud. I think I have enough Google search for you today. But the thing is, are we in Egypt 2022 AD? So if you are confused about it, no, you are not. My name is Ady, and we're at ng-conf. And today, we're going to be talking about the 7 core principles of fast Angular applications. And first, for those of you who can see it, B.L.A.Z.I.N.G is an acronym here. So another question, what could B stand for? Anybody? In terms of web performance, what could the B stand for? What? Bundle. One-time bundle? Bundle? You almost right, but no. B is for budget. Size does not matter. Yes, I'm saying it again. Size does not matter. Goals do. When you talk about web performance, you have to have a budget for it. Somebody who's making $1 million a year, that's not me. And somebody who's making $100,000 a year, that's still not me. Their budget are not the same. So for it to be relevant, it's about budget. So we're going to talk about a performance budget and not a bundle size. Now, what you are looking at right now is the worst creation of corporate America, abbreviations. You come in and you're like, okay, TTFB, FCP. Who down with LCP? You don't know me. So, now let's just keep a little definition around those things. So the folks at Google were kind enough to give us a name and having the right metrics to measure our performance. And out of those, they are the core metrics, which are the largest contentful paint, the first input delay, and the cumulative layout shift. So those are what we call the core web vitals, okay? And then you can go back and try to figure out the rest of the acronyms and have fun with it. All right, so now we have to have a performance budget, and you're going to have some kind of good monitoring tool. We're going to talk about that. Tooling is very important, as we saw with the nilometer. And we're going to be playing with this. Just don't get stuck into it. I really just spend 2 hours in there just because I can. The sliders are evil. Don't stay there too long. All right, now we have a performance budget. So this is a template that I found online, and this is why budget makes sense. Depending on your type of website, somebody who has maybe a blog that is text heavy is different from somebody who has, an Instagram type of website where you have a lot of images. So what is the good threshold for your use case? Okay? So if you have this, on top of it, it becomes a source of truth across your departments, from your design team to your development team to your business team. And as you are going through the motions every single time, while you are adding new resources, you can always go back to this as your source of truth in are we fulfilling our performance budget or are we way over it? All right. So now, I did this one a little too fast. I was going to ask you what the L will stand for. And it is, come on, I give it to you, to everybody. Lazy load. There you go. All right. So lazy load. You guys were lazy about it. That's why it did not count. I see what you're doing right there. So it really, the concept of lazy loading in Angular, a lot of people know it. When you have your ng module, the Angular CLI gets it, and then you can mark something lazy. But the principle, really, the underlying principle is only show the strict necessary resources that will enhance your user experience. Only show them what they need. Okay? And to do that, I have an example with a standalone component here for a movie app, and the detail page is not guaranteed that somebody is going to go there. So this will be a way to do that and have this content lazily loaded. But this is not the only place we can do stuff like this. If you have an image-heavy website, for example, you could do something like that at the image level too, okay? And just to be sure, let me highlight these two parts. I have something in there that is checking for a condition that I have created that is called isLCP. So if you got your acronyms or your abbreviation right, LCP, largest contentful paint. So if you have a list of images, the first one might be the large contentful paint. You don't want to lazy load that one. You want to eager load it. So in this setup, the first image will not be lazily loaded, but everything else would be. And we have another attribute here, which is the fetch priority, which will take to the browser. This is a high important image. Go get it before anything else. Okay? And there are many, many other instances where we could use that. Now, A is going to be, so I don't have the presenter slides. I cannot trick you anymore because I don't know what's coming up next. So that's just going to be it. Okay, so A, so now, who's following the acronym? Yes? We had what? B for? Budget. L for? A for? There you go. Class is in session. Nice. So the Angular checklist is everything that you, because what we talked about are usually around the network resources, your bundle size that you have to budget and everything. But inside of Angular, the way that you code your application is going to, of course, have an impact. So are you going to start from scratch? I'm lazy, pun intended. So what you do, find a community-validated one and make it better over time, okay? So in the community, one I think that Minko has put together and a few folks here, these are some of the expressions that you're going to find in there. Bundling, minification, service workers, using pure pipes. Oh, I did not know that Angular pipes, some of them were impure. What is a pure pipe or impure? That's a question you start asking yourself. And then when you get in there, of course, they will show you exactly what it is. But most importantly, if it fits your use case, take it and try it for yourself. Okay? So there's the Angular performance checklist. You can find me in the hallway for all those resources, and I'll let you know where to go and get it. So I think we are at A. So for Z, any guesses? Yeah, I think that's the only Z we have in Angular. I would have been, if somebody said zebra, I would be like, okay, yeah, all right. So, zone, but, or no zone. Oh my God. I never had this concept. I thought you are in Angular, you are in the zone. There's no way out of it. You are here, you are in the zone. But the thing to ask yourself about, and to just do a quick recap, there are some way that we could, or some things that I call the zone triggerers. Anytime you have a click button, anytime you have a set timeout, anytime you have those things that are implicitly, that might change your template, you are involving change detection, which will shake the whole tree or whatever. So the thing is, all of those things are going to happen in the zone. Now, the question to ask yourself, does Angular care about the process, or does it care about the result? If Angular only cares about the result, there's no need to put it in the zone. Put it outside, let it do what it do, come back, and take the result. A good example of that can be found on the Angular IO site, where the same process is run within the Angular zone, but it's going to fire at every single cycle of the set timeout, whereas on the second one right here, it will not trigger that change detection every single time, and then Angular is going to just get the results when it needs it. All right? I have a video about it somewhere on my YouTube channel if you want to see an extensive, summary about it. I have 8 minutes, so we'll see. I was going to do a live demo for you guys, but we're going to go very fast, okay? So we had zone already, so the I is for... Ooh, huh? Huh? iframe? Ivy. You know what? When it comes to Ivy, just let her do her thing, man. I mean, when you get in the car, do you want to be the driver or do you want to be the mechanic? Do you want to know about the engine? I don't. Let her do her thing. And she's been doing some great things for us guys. And at the end of the day, no matter what you do, she's going to take over. So you might as well. All right? Now, what about N? N. We are in an ng conference. What can N be? But we are talking about web performance. What? NGRX? No, not in this instance. But yeah, it's going to help you a lot. No blocking. Or non-blocking. Sorry, English is my third language. So non-blocking. So I have a little rhyme for you. When it comes to non-blocking, let it roll, let it flow, let the good bite grow. You like that? Yeah, sign me up, man. All right, so whenever JavaScript is single-threaded, and then whenever we are requesting resources, some of them are blocking ones, some of them are non-blocking. So we want to make sure that we help the browser as much as possible, and just do some non-blocking whenever we can. We have the chance to do so. So I'm going to give you a couple examples here. And the very first example is some of the script types. So whenever it's parsing your index HTML, and I did not know, to me, the index HTML file in the Angular project was a no man's land. You should not touch it, But I found out from some very good folks that you could. And with the ng optimizer plugin, you won't even have to do that anymore. But in the meantime, if you're not on 14.2 yet, don't worry about it. Go in there and play with it. You're safe, okay? And if you get in trouble, tell them that Michael Latke told me to say that. There you go. So you see that, for example, I have 2 script tags here, and not so important can wait, and then the chill no hurry JS. So basically, async will always take precedence over defer. But the thing with async is it can load now, it can load later. But the moment it starts loading, it becomes a blocking thing. Defer is never blocking. So that's the biggest difference between the two. All right? And if you have an inline script tag for people who are using G tags or anything like that, those will not, async and defer don't have any effect on your inline script tags. Okay? So we can talk more about that. And the other thing that we have here, though, that is very interesting, is our style sheet. So for our style sheet, what we're doing here, if we just have the media all, just like the one that we are all used to, that one is a blocking resource. But put this way, basically what have we done? We have changed it to print, which is non-blocking. And then we have used inline JavaScript here. We're saying unload, then change it back to all. All right? And on top of it, we have all our inline CSS that is going to be part of a few lines above. I forgot to highlight that part. Anyways, so now the last but not least is the gang of P's. Pre-connect, preload, prefetch, post CSS. Recycle, do it again. So the gang of P's. So whenever you have some resources that you know that your application, your website is going to go get, you can just tell it, hey, I'm going to need them at some point. Can you go get them? You know, so that's the pre-connect part. And that's very easy to do, actually. Once you, now you show up. That's not your slide. Get out of here. You know, so once you know, for example, I have 2 things here that are going to go to my movie website and then get me like those URLs. So I can pre-connect those. All right? And prefetching, I was talking to Minko a little earlier. That will be something, and he has a bunch of little libraries he has written about that. One of the good strategy is like when the person is hovering on something, that might be a good trigger for you to go and prefetch that resource. So preload, prefetch, pre-connect, post CSS, whenever you can do it. So you have the gang of 4. Now we have the gang of 4 Ps. Yeah, man, we're representing. So, and I think that's about it for the core principles. I was going to do a live demo. We have about 3 minutes, so I'm going to go through that, but I'm going to go through it very quickly. And then if you guys get me back here, we can do the demo together hands-on. But I just want to show you a few things real quick. Here, I had this, this presentation ready for you. And here, the very first thing when you start going into performance, the absolute no-no, you don't want to evaluate performance with an ng serve. You don't want to be on 4200. You're going to be a miserable person. All right? Because when we're talking about the tooling, start with Lighthouse. Always go for the right context. I don't need any of this for now, right now. I'm just going to concentrate on performance. And I'm going to do an initial analyze page load here. So when I do that, I timed it. It usually takes 15 seconds. So hopefully we have enough for everything. All right, all right, all right. Take your time. We'll do one. And you see, you don't want to be here. You don't want to be in 4200, But for the Google team and everybody who's taking so much time into getting us the tools, you see where we're at when we start. Okay? The problem here is we don't have text compression. We are in 4200, and I'll just do the other one. We don't have JavaScript minified and all these things. Yeah, we are in development mode. But the one thing that we can see, too, is that our large content paint, which is the image, this one, preloaded, it's right here. At least I can have that information. And now I can say, OK, this is very bad. But now, if I do an ng build, I wanted to show you this because you need to understand how IV is just badass. So let's now go to Ady, which is our production build. Okay, and let's make sure it runs. Okay, it doesn't. Let's make sure I have 38 seconds. Can I pull it in 38 seconds? Let's see. Let's do it. So I have NX on my side. So let's do ng build. Come on, buddy. Where are you? I can type it myself if you're going to take all this time. All right, I don't even need that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do HTTP server. Not only that, then I'm going to go to my dist folder, and I'm going to go to OCine. I'm going to go over time. Yeah. So dist OCine, and then I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do B. for broadly. There you go. Now, when we come back here, this is where we were, guys. 15.1 and all that nonsense. Coming back here, I'm going to refresh this guy. And we're going to go with the lighthouse, analyze page load. Yeah. Woo! IV is badass. Don't mess with that lady. And if this was a mic, this is what I would do for it. I'm done.